Hi, this is Jerry King, and I am back with another segment. And today I'm going to be talking about Liu Ren. So, what is Liu Ren? I'm just going to give a brief introduction in terms of what it can do, what it looks like, what the potential of this specific system is. There's a lot of familiar symbols within the Liu Ren board, as we can see here. It's not like it looks foreign or whatever, right? The only difference is that the placement of the symbols, why they're placed there, and why are there. Right here, you can see what I have is the four important ingredients of the Liu Ren board, which you can see right here. You've got your Bazi, so your date of divination. You can see the year of the the Yang Fire Monkey, month of the Yang Metal Tiger, day of the Yangwood Rat, and then the hour of the Yangwood Dog. And then now, if you come down here, you see these symbols, right? You see these recognizable symbols where you have the ox, tiger. So you got the Chou, Yin, Mao, Chan, Si, Wu, etc., etc. And it's rotating around here clockwise here. And then if we go to the middle board, similar symbols here. And then to the final board on the right side, we've got similar symbols here. I'll touch upon this further later on in this video. First off, I'm going to explain to you what Liu Ren is and why we use it. Okay. So Liu Ren, in Chinese metaphysics, it is labeled as the king of divination. Call it 占卜之王. That means it is one of the more higher level forms of divination. Obviously, we've heard of other methods out there, such as 奇门遁甲, using the I Ching in different methods as well. And there's also Tai Yi. But this is one of the more valued and widely used divination system, for obviously for masters that seek higher level and wanting to know more about a situation. I would highly recommend using this over other divination methods. Obviously, for those who study 奇门遁甲, this method would be a lot simpler for you to understand because you've already if you have a firm grasp of 奇门遁甲, it's very easy to transition over to Liu Ren. So yeah, as I mentioned, there's many high-level masters who practice divination. They would have a solid understanding of Liu Ren. Okay, and it can cover a range of topics that I have listed here. This is not inclusive. There's all other things that you can cover, but obviously things such as pregnancy, marriage, exams, career, job search, money-related matters, traveling, investing, lawsuits, etc., etc. Okay, so this Liu Ren, Liu represents six. Okay, water is the beginning. It produces life, right? So in the Lo Shu diagram, we have the number 1, and Earth is represented by number 5, right? So we have the both numbers together gives you 6. And with water, you have Liu Ren, and that is how the name came about. There are many methods of Liu Ren itself as well. Well, not just I shouldn't say Liu Ren, but Liu Ren in itself. There's also the Xiao Liu Ren, and then there's also the Dao Jia Liu Ren. So many different methods, but the one I usually practice is the Liu Ren, which uses the hour system. Okay, and this is a similar method to Qimen. Well, I shouldn't say similar method, but the similar kind of a methodology to 奇门遁甲, where you have the earth, man, heaven, and the gods. Okay, so very similar. You know, in Qi Men Dun Jia, you have your earth plate, and in Da Liu Ren, you also have your earth plate, and in your man plate, and so on and so forth. Similar gods as well, I should say as well. Some of the gods you see in Da Liu Ren, they are similar. For example, you got your Liu He, the sixth harmony, which is similar, basically similar contents in Qimen and in Da Liu Ren. Okay, so the Da Liu Ren's power is in deciphering the whole process from beginning to the results. It's a little bit different from Qimen Dunjia, where in Qimen Dunjia, if you just want the results, it's much simpler. Just look at the plate and then you get your results right away. Whereas you may not know the process, what's transpiring. So, for example, let's say you've already embarked upon a project or embarked upon a some sort of a contract where you want to know, okay, so what's coming up next? What should I do? What's going to transpire? Who am I dealing with? What types of people are involved? What is like your current mindset? That kind of stuff. Da Liu Ren will definitely give you more information over Qimen Dunjia. Da Liu Ren is one of the three styles. So we've got here Tai Yi, and you got your Qimen, and then you got Liu Ren. So Qimen, we always talk about prior to the situation, you can determine the results. Whereas the situation is already in progress. Now, what's going to transpire? Who are you dealing with? What types of people might be involved? Who are your obstacles? Things like that. Right. It's sometimes in Qimen Dunjia, it's not as cutthroat, it's not clear where, okay, who am I dealing with, right? Because you're looking only at the end results of whether I should embark upon this project, yes or no, and you're done, right? Whereas Da Liu Ren is like, okay, I'm embarking in this project. Who am I dealing with? What's going to transpire within this whole scenario? And Da Liu Ren would give you more of a picture. And Qimen Dunjia back then was mainly used for war, whereas Da Liu Ren is meant more for people-related issues. And then we've also got Tai Yi, which it looks at like things such as society, weather, natural disasters, things like that. So it looks more at the bigger picture, the grander macro situation. But overall, all three of these methods can predict the results. So at the end of the day, many people may just want results. If you want results, you can also use Plum Blossom and you can get your results there and not really have to worry about what transpires and so on and so forth, right? So the challenges of Da Liu Ren, lots of challenges. So even as I talk right now, even as I speak right now, many of you may wonder, what is this method? What is this all about? How come there's nothing written about it? And it is true, there aren't many English books out there in the market. So, and there are limited masters teaching it too. When you approach a master, you may also want to ask, what types of Liu Ren are you teaching? Are you teaching the Dao Jia, the Dao principles of Liu Ren, or are you teaching Xiao Liu Ren, the smaller version of Liu Ren, or are you teaching Da Liu Ren? So there are different forms, so you want to have it clarified as well. So yeah, the biggest challenge is lack of video information, lack of English books. If you're an English speaker, very difficult. It's also very difficult to find good Chinese books as well on this subject matter. There, excuse me, there are a bunch of classics out there on Da Liu Ren. Yeah, they're quite difficult to decipher as well. Me, myself, learning Da Liu Ren, I started off learning from Jack Chu about, I think, 2014. Yeah, around there. So it's been a long journey, 7, 8 years. And I've composed hundreds of pages of materials in English in Da Liu Ren. But yeah, it's gonna be difficult to even try and get all this stuff published because I'm super busy at the moment. But yeah, Da Liu Ren itself, going back to this, the materials, it encompasses many items on the board, as you've seen earlier in the video. We talked about the day branches here, the Di Zhi, and then you got your heavenly stems, your Tiangan. Those most of you are familiar with, for those who have studied Bazi. And then you've got your 12 celestial gods, we call it the 12 Tianzhang. And then after that, we're looking at the 4 classes and the 3 transmissions. And then obviously the understanding, you have to have a solid understanding of the 5 element theory in order to even lay your eyes on looking at the Liu Ren board. And there's also things such as special stars, which we've dealt with in Bazi as well, your travel horse or mobility star, your void stars, so on and so forth. And then obviously, the most important is understanding the Yi Jing, because Liu Ren is very interconnected with the Yi Jing principles. Okay, so basically you are packing a lot of information from prior knowledge and systems into one system. So not many have the time and the effort to learn another method. It's like, why should I learn another method? We've got enough information. This is all I need. This satisfy myself. And maybe you're looking at this and you're telling yourself, okay, I don't need to go further with this, which is true in some ways and false in some ways. If you believe that you're done right here, you're confused by now, it's like you don't want to move on further, which is fine as well. But getting in-depth knowledge of the system will get you a lot further within your own field. That is for sure. You never want to stop learning, right? Yeah, and many do give up due to its complexity, very complex. But if you actually spend some time on this method, it's very fun. I find it's very fun. It's very challenging. It's something that really helps out in terms of dealing with your clients' questions. So yeah, figuring out where to start is already a challenge in itself when studying Da Liu Ren. Okay. So yeah, Da Liu Ren, it came before Qimen Dunjia, and then Tai Yi came later. But during the Song Dynasty, so we're looking at 960 to 1279, both Da Liu Ren and Qimen Dunjia were seen as equal or on par with each other. During the warring periods, Tang Dynasty, before the Song Dynasty, Qimen Dunjia came to the forefront because it was used for war and military strategies, whereas Da Liu Ren, their focus was more on people issues. Okay, so 2 different usages. Qimen Dunjia was only focused on war strategies, feng shui, landforms, understanding landform, finding a good location, and so on and so forth. Whereas Da Liu Ren were focused more on, let's say, our personal problems. Will I pass this exam? Should I be traveling to another city or another county? And so on and so forth. So Da Liu Ren in the past, it had way more classics written, way more than Qimen Dunjia during the dynastic period. Okay. And the amount of valuable information accumulated was a lot more, way more. And up to today, the difference is Qimen Dunjia is more of a marketable system, more marketable. So people create more materials for Qimen Dunjia. That doesn't mean that Qimen Dunjia is more superior than Da Liu Ren. It's different. The system's different. Okay, so the old saying goes, 其门五正 Liu Ren Wu Jia. And in translating in English, it says that 奇门遁甲 has no truth, Da Liu Ren is not fake. So people joked around in the dynastic period where 奇门遁甲 is nothing but a fraud, whereas Da Liu Ren is not fake, but does that make it true as well? So it's something in between, right? But at the end of the day, it's you pick and choose and you decide what you connect better with. If you feel 奇门遁甲 connects better with you, you can stick with 奇门遁甲. But I do find Da Liu Ren as a much more powerful system. After using both, when I do my divination, I use both. I do find Da Liu Ren is the more superior system that supports me in my Bazi readings. It's very common for me to use Da Liu Ren. So as I mentioned, the common usage of 奇门遁甲 is meant for military, and Da Liu Ren is more focused on people issues. Going into the next slide. So without a solid knowledge of Bazi, it is very difficult to grasp the concepts of Da Liu Ren. So if you can look at this Da Liu Ren board, this is what I call the earth plate. So these symbols are stationary. So if I go back to this, I've talked about this in the past before. So you got your earth and your heaven. So heaven here, earth. So this plate here, it is stationary. So this, and let me see if I can copy that there here. No, I can't copy. Let me try that. No. Anyways, that earth plate remains the same. The symbols above it changes. So this is the earth plate. So if I look at the Da Liu Ren board, if I go here, it'll make it more clear. So you see here, the ox, the tiger, the rabbit, and the dragon. If I go back to the previous slide, you can see this pig is occupied by the horse. I mean, the ox. So that pig was in that corner, right? So the ox is here now. So something has changed, right? So these, when you use any kind of a computer program or an Excel spreadsheet to generate the plate, basically the heaven plate changes. So this is very important. This is moving all the time. Whereas the earth plate, it is what it is. So basically the ox sits on top of the pig, the tiger right here, the yin sits on top of the zi, and Mao sits on top of the ox, and so on and so forth. Why don't I just bring this here just for you to see? Let me see if I can paste this here. Yeah. So what we see here is this right here that I just pasted here. That's the earth plate, and that here is the heavenly plate. So this one always changes. And when we look at these boards, this is what we call the Tai Chi. You got the yin, which is the earth, and yang, which is the heaven, right here, yin yang. And the Tai Chi comes the four, we call the Si Xiang. And the Si Xiang is the four classes right here. This one grows the Ba Gua. The Ba Gua is the San Chuan, which is the three transmissions. So you got your Tai Chi, and then you got your four classes, and then the Ba Gua, which is represented by the San Chuan right here. Okay, so we got your base plate here, which is your earth. Okay, just gonna remove this so we could talk about this. So the Da Liu Ren board, what we see here is, I already mentioned earlier, your Bazi right here, the day of the divination, which is your Yang fire monkey, Yang metal tiger, the day of the Jiazi, the Yang wood rattan, and the Jiaxu in the hour. So as we can see here, the next board that we have here is, I mentioned the heavenly plate right here, where you have the ox, tiger, and so on and so forth. And then outside here are the celestial gods. So you got your Gui Ren, your Tianhou, your Tai Yin, Xuan Hu, recognizable symbols, the Tai Yin, Xuan Hu, those similar to Qi Men Dun Jia as well. And you got your Bai Hu right here. Gou Chen, Liu He, Zhu Che, Teng Shi. These are your gods outside on around the plate. So these are attached to these heavenly symbols that branches right here. And then after that, we got your 4 classes here. Okay. And you see the Jia right here, that's taken from the day master, and the Zi is taken from the day branch right here. So that's how it's constructed here. And then the Jia obviously is Jia is related to the Yin. So we go back to the base plate. What we see here, you see the Yin is located here. So now we go back to the heavenly plate and see what's located there. You got your Chen. The Chen is on top of the Jia. I just don't want to complicate things. But then basically the Chen, the base is here, and you put the Wu here. And the Zi, the base is here. So if you see the Zi right here, the Yin, you put the Yin here, and then the Yin on top of the Yin is the Chen, and so on and so forth. So this is what we call the 4 classes. And then afterwards, we got your Bagua right here, which we call the Sanchuan. This is actually very important for divination purposes. I'm going to copy this over here. Okay. Don't save that. I want to copy all these over so I can actually explain the importance. So you got your 4 classes here, and then we got your base plate here. And we already know that Jia is your day stem, and this is your day branch, right? I'm just going to bring this over. So this is your Bazi of the day here. Okay. Okay, so when we do a divination, or when someone's questioning something, let's just say relationships, obviously when we look into relationships, the more simpler approach is in Da Liu Ren, you can just go use the day master as the male and the day branch as the female. And so we have these two in question right here. What's on top matters. So obviously we have to pay attention to the Liu He in Qi Men Dun Jia is also important in terms of relationships. And in Da Liu Ren, we also have to take into consideration Qinglong, which represents your husband, and then your Tianhou, representing your wife as well. Anyways, I don't want to dive into that much detail. I'm just going to remove all this. I want to make a mess here. But yeah, there. And then we have to understand all the symbols that I circled. We have to understand their connections. Their connections, whether there are what we call control clashes, whether they support, whether they grow each other. So just to keep something simple, to keep matters simple. So these two, for example, the yin represents wood. The dragon represents earth. It's possible that this is controlling that. So it's, in Bazi, your wood clashes with your earth, or wood controls earth, right? So this female, either she's in control or she's trying to push away the male at this point. So that's something that you can also mention, like when you're doing a divination in Da Liu Ren. But I'm just trying to simplify it. Okay, and then we can even go further in terms of what transpires in the relationship itself, how we can grab like their birth year and see where they're located in the plate itself and its connection. Okay, so there are a lot to look at. One thing that's very critical, that's very important to understand is that in Da Liu Ren, the earth plates can be used. So a high level masters can use the earth plate, earth and heaven plate to see everything. They might not even go into the 4 classes or the 3 transmissions. So these to them could be just extra noise and extra confusion. But it's also very dangerous to just use the TND pan, so your earth and heavenly plate, to just look for answers and then ignore these, because you don't want the Sanchuan to control well, you want the Sanchuan to control this. You don't want the TND pan to control the Sanchuan. So it works like this. So let's just randomly, I'll randomly grab a symbol. So let's just say I'm looking at Mo Chuan, the last one right here, third one. You don't want this one to be chopped. You want this actually to be in control. Okay. You don't want something to be burning up the monkey. So let's just say if my subject is this, right? That's the horse, right? So if the horse is going this way, so if we're going your TND pan, your earth and heavenly plate is controlling what's in here. It's burning up the last one. Obviously, it's going to be inauspicious. And what we have here is, I'm going to use a different color. You got this horse, which is also on top. So you have this Tang Shi, which is already snake. It's already fire. With more fire, this is sitting on top of wood too. I don't want to complicate things too much. Actually not wood, but a little bit of earth. It's reducing its energy, but it doesn't really matter because the fire is very powerful here. And the horse, and you also see it here. So basically, your end result is being attacked. So I'm just going to cross that. So you usually want this to be in favor. You want this to be in control, but you don't want this to control that. So preferably, let's say if your subject matter is the Mao, and your Shen is controlling the Mao. So if you're going this way, oh, wrong one, right here. You're more in control, right? So the at the end result, the end result says that, oh, most likely you're gonna win, or depending on what your question is, right? But at least this is a more auspicious situation. You want the Sanchuan to be in control. You want it to be the leader, right? Okay. I'm gonna go back to the slides here. So I'm just gonna quickly explain to you. For example, yesterday I had a question whether a lady asked whether her son would be accepted into the university that they applied for. So first off, you have to identify. It's something similar to Qimen Dunjia as well, where you have to identify your subject matter. Okay, who are the ones that are important? In Daliu Ren, we don't have something we don't call it the useful god. They don't call it, oh, we have to look for the Yongshan. We don't do that, right? We just look at the subject matter and we say, okay, this is the person. So the student itself is the stem. So if you see that gui right here is the stem. And I look at the interviewer, right? Interviewer is the horse right here that's sitting on top of the gui. So in this situation, there's a conflict here, but the gui, water controls fire, right? But what I want to see is the other things, which is like the branch, which is the pig, and what's on top of the pig, which is the dragon. Okay, so there's a relationship here where the horse feeds into the earth. But however, there's water underneath, which is in conflict with what's on top. So the situation does not look that favorable. But the other thing I want to look at is the person itself. Where is he standing? When we look at the plate, the earth plate, the earth and heavenly plate, the heavenly plate usually represents that person's mindset. What do you want to do? Right. So if we look at where the rooster is located, so he's born in a year to rooster. If I go back to this plate, the rooster is located here, right? So I have to go back to this plate and see, okay, where is the rooster here? Is there's a tiger on top of the rooster. So right here, we can see that, oh, okay, that's not a supportive situation. However, the rooster is controlling the wood, right? Metal on wood. And then we look over here, this rooster. Now that's a more favorable situation because on top of this underneath this is a dragon, right? So the earth is feeding into this rooster. So at the end, we want to take a look and see what the end result is. And we look at this and we see a dragon here. The dragon supports this rooster. So at this point, we do see a lot of conflict, but there is still a possibility of being accepted into the university. There is at the end result. So we can even see here that horse. It's burning up that rooster, the pig. That's water. That's just reducing the rooster's energy. So obviously a lot of energy consumption in terms of dealing with interviews, exams, and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, this dragon, the earth feeds in the rooster. The earth is going towards. So we're talking about the end result feeding into him. Okay. So there's a possibility that this person will actually get accepted. First attempt, he failed. Okay, rejected, but and now we use this to see, okay, no, I mentioned like what the situation is, a lot of conflict, a lot of headache, energy consuming, but at the end of the day, there's a very high possibility that this person will get accepted, and we'll find out in around April. And it's funny enough, the lady was telling me in the email that he will get a second opportunity in April. And lo and behold, you see this rooster? The rooster is sitting on top of the dragon. The dragon represents what month? April, right? And I don't want to bring up her email. It's personal personal confidential information, but it does explicitly say that she will get an answer in April, and that dragon is the dragon month. See, this Joe right here is sitting on top of the dragon. So that's something that Liu Ren is. I find it every time I always feel like it's a coincidence, but at the end of the day, it gives me the answers that I want to see. It's actually telling me stuff. It's telling me stuff. It's giving me confirmation. It's telling me the truth, so on and so forth. Oh, I'm only on the 9th slide. I got 39 slides here. Well, I'll carry on next time, but for now, hopefully I've given you a good introduction or good explanation in terms of what Liu Ren can do, and possibly something that you can explore. It looks complicated because you got a bunch of symbols here, and but the thing is, all these symbols most of you already know, and then like you've already probably memorized half these symbols from Qimen. It's just trying to understand, okay, what is this? Like, what is this? What do I do with this 4 classes? What do I do with this 3 transmissions? What do I do here? So basically, what do I do at the end? This is the Bagua, and then this is the Tai Chi right here, right? The yin and the yang right here. And knowing the Bazi is already half the battle. And with Bazi, sometimes when you give a reading, you might have like a couple they're asking, well, two people that are dating, and they want to know whether they're good for marriage and whatever. You can also look in the bots and say, oh, okay, there's a lot of good combinations. Both of you like the water element, blah blah blah, etc. etc. And you got a good cycle coming up, so on and so forth. Okay, this is very good for a relationship, and so on and so forth. So your job could be done there. Whereas if you want to dive more into details, and you can also look at their current situation. How are they feeling towards each other? Who wants who more? Sometimes Bazi is not as clear. You can't tell who wants who more. It is possible that one person might have a lot of water, one person has a lot of metal, and that person with a lot of metal likes the water, right? So you see the connection where, okay, the person with a lot of metal wants the person with a lot of water, right? So you can also give a generalization there in Bazi, whereas in the Liu Ren is very clear. You can tell right away from just only the what I call the Tian Pan right here, the Earth and Heavenly Plate. You can tell very clear who wants to be with who more. There's no hiding. The board will tell you. Okay. So that's just one thing, one situation right here. There's gazillions of other situations where we can go through looking at exams, looking at lawsuits, the parties involved, what types of people are more suitable to help me in my lawsuit, what types of people are more suitable to my business, what kind of business should I get into, stuff like that. Um, that's something that we can talk about in the future as well. But for now, that's all I have on Liu Ren. I am going to post this on my Facebook. You can comment there. You can send me a message and ask me questions if you have any questions about this video. I'll try to respond. Just don't send me like a date and ask me to do a divination. That's gonna just just send me comments. That's what I want to hear. And yeah, that's all I have for today. I will carry on more next time on this subject matter. Okay, thanks a lot for tuning in, and yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button and feel free to subscribe to my channel. All right.